started pretty much straight away. Hopefully we'll get lucky and maybe we'll run across Croagunk relatively quickly. Would be nice. But Tuesday is going well. I'm gonna say, so as long as you just haven't been too bored just sitting waiting for the stream to start, Hutch, that's all that matters. You little Levy. I went and did a quick resource gather before the stream because I didn't have enough for a lot more sandwiches. I don't know how long this hunt's going to take, so it might take, you know, 3 or 4 hours. So I want to make sure I got plenty of sandwiches to keep them going pretty much the entire time. Obviously, the counter to that is we might get it incredibly quickly, and then have to find something to do. Just gonna be roaming around. My days this week are a bit off because of Monday being a bank holiday. Half my brain is thinking that today is Monday and we're already on Tuesday. But, you know, that's the risk with bank holidays. We got a lot of them coming up. So hopefully I can keep up with it all, but who knows. So today we might also start, if we get it, we might also start going for another team member. I wasn't sure if I wanted to get it, but it's because the hunt for it was going to be a bit of a pain. But I'm thinking it's probably quite likely that we're going to go for Hippantis, the evolution of Hippowdon, to add it to the team. So then we've got it for the electric gym, because I'm really terrified about trying to do that gym. I haven't really looked into Eno's team. I can't quite remember what it is. Yeah, Pumpkin, it's just one of those weird days. I got to Saturday and I'm like, oh, it's Sunday today, and it's just not. Yeah, Hippantis. I know it's just one that I struggle with. But yeah, I'm debating. It is a very minimal shiny is the issue. It's a very light color change between the original. To be honest, I was just a little bit worried about actually hunting for it. The issue is that I kind of need it. I need a ground type Pokemon really, just to make sure that the fight goes a bit easier. I might double check what her team has, and then just go from that. But I don't think it's anything too challenging, so I might just miss it out altogether. I want to get Rotom, and then it might be that when we get up to that sort of area, we also go for a Glaceon or something like that. Oh, you're coming back then, Logan. Finally done in Germany. Hope you had fun. At least you've got a couple more days back at home before the half term ends. Hey SN, how are you doing on this Tuesday? Hope everyone's Tuesday is going well. Almost halfway through the week already. Time flies when you have a day off. Keep on. Yeah, quickly. Yeah, so I think the next hunt might be Rotom. I don't know. Or, I mean, we also have Gibble as well. But the issue that I noticed with Gibble's spawn is that Bagon also spawns there, and so does Noivern. Noibat? Pre-evolution of Noivern. So trying to hunt for a dragon type sandwich round where I was going to hunt for that, it's just a really bad idea. As much as I would like a shiny Bagon, I obviously can't use it, so we'll see if we get Croagunk within, you know, half an hour, 40 minutes. It might be that I go over and try and get Gibble or Rotom or something like that, but just put it in the box for the meantime. But Gibble I can use on the gym, so I'm hoping if I get lucky with a low enough level roll. Because that's the thing, is that at the moment the wild ones are too high level. We're good on the Croagunks. I'm not worried about the Croagunks, but it's the gyms that I'm worried about. Like, hopefully Simba will be at the point when we get to the water type gym that he can pretty much just carry us through that. But I need to make sure that I've got a backup plan in case he's not. And I just need to be prepared, really. Just making as much prep as possible, so then I hopefully, fingers crossed, don't losing any hope on this run. Which type of what? SN. Hold on, let me just double check. Quickly pull up Eno's team just so I can see. Okay, so Miss Magius is the scariest. But I think we would probably be okay with what we've already got for most of these Pokemon. Which is good, because we're going to have some pretty tanky Pokemon by the time we get to Eno's gym. Like, we got 4 more levels to get until we get to Eno's gym, so I'm not too worried, so we should be good. Oh god, all of these little Pokemon. This is where dashing has its disadvantages when we're getting so many of the small Pokemon spawn. I just miss them going around at this speed. Maybe I'll just go back to normal. Circling around for the minute. Maybe also more spawn at night. I didn't think this was the case when I was looking yesterday, but when I hunted yesterday it was at night, so maybe they spawn more at night. Just not paying attention for these little Pokemon. It's interesting that this much water is deep enough that Simba needs a floaty. It's because he's so small. If he wasn't so small, he might be able to swim, but poor little Simba can't swim. Water's too deep for him. Yeah, hopefully we get a good nature on Croagunk. I haven't really paid too much attention to the natures. And I think our natures are relatively okay. I think they're good enough for what we need. It's just the nature. So let's actually look at this. So Simba is only really good for 2 of Eno's Pokemon, being the Wattrel and the Bellibolt, just due to the fact that his nature is rivalry, meaning that he does 25% more damage to the Pokemon of the same gender. So it could be that we do okay on those 2, and then we'll swap into Big Ben for her Luxio, and then Croagunk for Miss Magius. It's the Confused Ray that scares me on Miss Magius, because it's the confusion flinching that just doesn't work well for me. But if we Toxic, we can maybe if we Toxic, maybe we can just use that as a way just to do lots of chip damage. I would say Arceus is strong, but obviously it depends on what plates you're using with Arceus. Obviously the idea is that he's weak against whatever plate you use, but it's just the fact that he can swap types that makes him powerful. He can be whatever type you want him to be. You can keep him just as normal. You can, you know, flying, fighting, fairy, you know. I think it's just a case of use case, but I think, yeah, probably in terms of game, Arceus probably isn't the strongest. You're probably better with like a choice, some choice specs competitive bred Pokemon, but I think Arceus is strong. I like Arceus. I'd like to get myself a shiny one day, but that hunt is definitely a bit further down the line. If I can stomach sitting there for hours on end, just soft resetting. I've got to finish Palkia before I even think about that, so. No, I would say strong. I think Arceus is pretty strong, but that, again, that's just my personal take on it. It could be that other people think he's weak. But, you know, that's their opinion, this is mine, so. It'll definitely be what it'll be. Definitely is all up to individual preference. It's annoying that also you can hear the sound of the terrestrialized Pokemon even though they're not there anymore. It's definitely a bug that I'm surprised didn't show up during testing, and they haven't gotten around to fixing it yet. Granted, it's small in comparison to duplicating items and duplicating Pokemon, but you know, let me complain about my little audio bug that, you know, I can actively walk away from. Doesn't actually affect gameplay. I don't mind it if it's, you know, just at a distance, but when you get close and you're like, oh, there's no terrestrialized Pokemon over here, it's kind of annoying. But I can live with, well, I can't even really avoid it because it is right in the middle of this marsh. If it was a bit if it was on like one edge, I'd be fine because I could just avoid that one edge, but being in the middle, unless I run down this one side, I don't think I can avoid it. It does work, but you know, I'm just really worried about Croagunk spawns, because I'd kind of really like to just make sure I'm getting lots of them spawn. I mean, they're both strong, SN. They're both super strong, but obviously it's, you know, if those two collided in a battle, I'm sure it'd be the end of the universe, because, you know, the resulting battle would just be so intense. But it would just, you know, be catastrophic for anyone standing close or even at all in that world, right? Super strong Pokemon. I think Bidoof was another Pokemon that I haven't managed to get shiny yet. I think I got a shiny Bibarel though on Legends Arceus, and I tried for ages to look for a shiny Bidoof, but to no avail. It's a shame, because I really do like, well, I'm a sucker for Sinnoh Pokemon, so the fact that it's a Sinnoh Pokemon also doesn't help. But I guess that would mean a lot more Pokemon are Sinnoh Pokemon now, right? Oh god, I really don't like these questions, SN. They lack imagination. Obviously, it's Wailord. But no, so in that situation, it would depend when they're fighting, right? If they're fighting on land, you could argue Oddish might be. If they're fighting in sea, then it obviously goes to the Wailord. But, you know, I wonder if your mum jokes in the Pokemon world revolve around Wailord as a concept. It'd be interesting if they would have to, right? Because kids are hurtful. Kids can be quite hurtful with some of the things they say, so I could definitely see that. Or Snorlax, right? Like, there are a lot of Pokemon that would just insinuate, or that would work really well / really poorly to your mama jokes. I mean, yeah, Oddish does no Giga Drain, but you know, if you're talking about it in terms of in-game, right, then obviously it can go either way. But if you're talking about it from like a realism perspective, there's no way that Oddish would ever be able to defeat a Wailord. Just one, due to the size. Two, due to the fact that Oddish is a very skittish Pokemon, I think, right? The whole point is that it will run away. And it's a very, like, it's not a very aggressive Pokemon. So you know, I can't foresee it winning in any situation. I mean, also, if you think about it, I don't think, for some reason I thought maybe Wailord could learn Bounce, but I don't think it can. I think it knows Dive. I think it can learn Dive. I don't know why I thought there was a Wailord with Bounce on it, but You know, a Wailord bounces, sits on it, slams, heavy slams. That Oddish is flattened. Oh, I'm not going to get into the realism of Pokemon moves. They obviously work in universe, right? But what I'm saying is, even in universe, right? A little tiny plant Oddish versus a whale that weighs, you know, 50 to 100 times more than it. It's like it's a silly fight, right? It's like saying who wins between a mouse and a lion. It's like, well, you know, the mouse is more cunning, but in a head-to-head, the lion will win. See, and now you're just doing it so then I say Oddish is the clear winner, because obviously you want Oddish to be the winner. And then that's, you know, favoritism towards one side versus the other. It's like, oh, well, you know, the Wailord only knows Splash, but the Oddish knows Mega Drain, Thunder, and, you know, Magical Leaf, and Giga Drain, and you know, all of that, just so then it skews it into the one side, right? Like I say, if you wanted me to say Oddish, just say that, you know, it's Oddish versus Oddish. Who wins? Well, obviously Oddish. Right? Or don't ask questions if you want a specific answer that I'm not going to give. Sorry to say, I'm very set in my ways. I'm going to say, even if it knows a move, right? In terms of if it's a Wailord, it's a whale. The only Pokemon I could imagine taking down a Wailord efficiently would be maybe like a Raichu or something like that, because Raichu is known to have lightning that can take down elephants, obviously, or thunderbolts that can, yeah, KO elephants. Where, so, you know, Wailord's slightly bigger than an elephant, but it's still that sort of size of animal, right? So it could be that, you know, in terms of in-lore, the reason Wailord is so big is because nothing can actually hunt it. Which makes sense, right? Wailmer is a bit more easier to hunt. It's like whales in real life, right? I don't really want a Pokemon Battle SN. I'm kind of busy at the moment doing this run. I don't know what I'll be doing after this run, so I'll have to decline that invitation for now. Like I say, Wailord just as a Pokemon is just obscenely huge. And I love it, don't get me wrong, but it's like the whole, I don't know if there was a meme about it or something like that, but there's the whole Gigantamaxed Wailord. It's like, how big would that Pokemon be? Like, when you look at regular Gigantamaxed Pokemon and how big they get, you throw a Wailord into that, man, it would just get obliterated. Or like Gigantamax Pokemon, but then being only a phenomenon that works in Galar would explain why maybe there's no Gigantamaxed Wailords in Galar, because, you know, Gigantamax Pikachu can go around and hunt them. It is a very, very weird situation. But we'll see. I mean, obviously it's all a hypothetical at the end of the day, isn't it? It could be that it's a hypothetical, right, at the end of the day. I'm gonna go up and grab this item just because it's here. Well, I'm not going to do that, SN, because it will just be a whole big thing. I'm just going to be trying to focus on shiny hunting at the moment. Again, like I said, thanks for the offer, but kind of just trying to focus on this for the moment. I don't mind chatting, but trying to also think about doing a thing. Hutch might be up for it, though. I don't know if Hutch is here or Logan. Logan might be down for it. I'm surprised we haven't run into a shiny flamingo yet. But it's nice. So let's see if we get more Croagunk spawn, because again, I felt like there was more last time it was night. Should be interesting to see. Again, Shedninja is just a miraculous Pokemon. In universe and out of universe, right? I'd love to get a Shedninja in this game. Shedninja I just think is really, really cool. I love running Shedninja. I mean, we used to do a lot of my mates in school years ago. We used to do Pokemon battles on our games at lunch and whatnot, and I just built an insane team. I don't think I used a Shedninja. I had a very heavily stat boosted Excelgor. This was like X and Y times, and he was just so quick that he just obliterated everything. I loved it. I can't wait for those Pokemons to come back. Have they been in any recent games? I can't remember if they have been. Yeah. Those were the days when Pokemon was simple and Mega Evolutions had just come out and there's no Gigantamaxing, no Nintendo Switch. I mean, I love the Switch, don't get me wrong, but I grew up on the DS, so seeing that it's effectively shut down service at this point kind of hurts. It's like the Wii as well. The Wii, I grew up on the Wii, and you know, Wii shutting down, oh man, it just does a blow. Obviously they can't keep these things running forever, that I understand, but no, it's a very difficult situation, and I know eventually that the Switch store will probably go down as well. It's just the way Nintendo does things. Might be 10, 15 years down the line, but it will eventually shut down. And given we're, what, already 6 years into the life of the Switch? I think it was 2016, 2017? Oh yeah, but SN, the issue is that Shedninja has an ability that stops it from taking damage from any moves that aren't super effective to it. So even if it has 1 HP, it's... you just hitting it doesn't mean it KOs it. So Hutch is correct. Because it's not effective, it doesn't hit and doesn't do damage. Therefore, Shedninja still has 1 HP. That's why I love Shedninja. And I think it's been like the only Pokemon that has been unique in that aspect of that it was a weird triple stage evolution, right? You get Pokemon, you get 1 Pokemon, and at the end of it you get 2. Even Ninjask is really, really cool. Like the speed boost on it, I think did it have speed boost originally? I can't remember. But speed boost in the later games when it had it, oh my god, it just made both of the Pokemon, in my opinion, really powerful and unique. You know, I think it's the only one. I know, obviously, you've got Rockruff that came in later generations that can have different forms, but based on time of day, while that's a cool concept, I mean, you know, one Pokemon having 2 evolutions, you you have to have a space in your party and all of that, you know. It's like, that's really cool. See if I might not even get a Croagunk today. I mean, Hutch, I think at this point you validated that you don't need to worry about Pikachu doing any damage to you, so you'll probably be all right just to eliminate it. That's the thing, right? Is that unless you have intimate knowledge of Shed Ninja and you come across it in the wild, you think, or you caught one and you were like, oh, it's kind of useless. It's only got 1 HP. It's horrible. You don't know what it can do. Man, you're giving up one really good Pokemon. I mean, I could also possibly get a Riolu, but I think at this point, Riolu is not going to be something I want to grab on the team. See, the issue is, SN, you haven't set any ground rules for this fight. Like, is it 6'6"? Is it... all you're doing is just going, I want to battle you, and then you're just going with Pokemon that can counter whatever Hutch brings out. Nice if we run into another shiny Pawmi as well, so I can capture it this time. I also realized today while browsing through, funny enough, Instagram, that the reason that I loved Infernape, that I love Infernape as a Pokemon and Chimchar in regards to that, it's gonna sound horrible, but it was because Paul was so horrible to it, you know, and you saw the growth of this Pokemon from a bully Pokemon to a really strong Infernape that just kicked the absolute snuff out of Electivire during that last fight that they had. I think it was the last fight that they had. Man, that you know, just got to me, man. I love Infernape, but it always seems to be the fire Pokemon that always gets the flack. I think Tepeg got it later down the line as well, where it got in the region after it, where it got abandoned by its trainer and all of that. And I think there's probably some more. Obviously, Gengar had it in the latest one. I think, was it Gengar? I haven't really watched any since Diamond and Pearl and a bit of Unova, so my Pokemon anime knowledge is very limited. Maybe like the first few episodes ever as well, but I might have to, I mean, it's a lot of episodes. I was thinking I might have to go through and watch them all to finish it. I was going to say before the new one starts, but the new one starts in a couple of weeks, so trying to be ahead on that just doesn't work. It's a lot of episodes, I think, at this point. Yeah, I can't remember. Was Charmander abused? See, that's the thing. It was... I know it obviously didn't listen to Ash, but I don't know if that was due to an act of neglect. Obviously, that was more a case of... If it was a case of that the Charmander / Charizard just wouldn't listen to its trainer, right? Like, it was a very individual Pokemon. But, like, Tepeg was just abandoned. Paul didn't want Chimchar because he was weak. And then, obviously, as you go along, you see his story. Oh, okay. So, yeah, so... I don't know why, because obviously everyone outside of the anime love the fire Pokemon, right? I think it's probably one of the most picked fire type Pokemon of all time, or of all the starter Pokemons. I think it is probably mostly fire. I think in terms of in-game, it's the opposite, right? Like, people really didn't like Bulbasaur. I think Trico was really cool because Sceptile was awesome. I think Gen 2 probably had the best. No, sorry, Gen 3 had the best with those three. They were all really good Pokemon. I thought Gen 4 was really good. Gen 5 again, I didn't like Snivy. I really liked Emboar. I really liked Oshawott. But I didn't like Snivy. Right, let's grab a picnic. Hey Kevin, how are you doing on this Tuesday? Just trying to remember, just trying to prove to myself that I know what day of the week it is. Tuesday. So what other stuff could we get? Egg power, bug, teeny, dragon. So that's what we're gonna want. So we need some avocado for that, right? Oh, I'm gonna have to go and buy some avocado at some point. Yeah, Grovyle, Trico, they were really good Pokemon. I think all of the ones from Hoenn were really good. Trico, Mudkip, and Torchic were all really good starters. Again, I liked all of the Gen 4. Gen 5, I only had one that I didn't like. Gen 6, I wasn't a big fan. Who isn't a big fan of in Gen 6? Fennekin. I quite liked Rowlet. Rowlet's adorable. Fennekin was one of those that I wasn't quite sure on. And obviously Greninja is the poster child of that gen, right? 7 was... No, Rowlet wasn't in that one, was it? It was Chestnut, sorry. Again, Chestnut. I didn't like Chestnut. Oh, I didn't like Chestnut or Fennekin. Now, maybe it was just Greninja in that gen. And then Rowlet was the next one? God, it's testing my game knowledge that just isn't there. But yeah, no, Hoenn had 3 amazing Pokemon, and then they made them better with Mega Evolutions. Obviously I'm very biased towards the Sinnoh starters because Sinnoh was my first game. So I think all 3 Sinnoh starters are really good. Like, I love Turtwig, I love Piplup, and I love Chimchar. I love their evolved forms even more. Yeah, I didn't like Puplio either, I'm gonna be honest. It was... It was just... I didn't really like that gen starters altogether, I don't think. I think Rowlet was the only one that I liked from Alola. Was it Litten? Litten's okay. But I just don't like Incineroar. They have a thing, for some reason, at Game Freak, where they make every cat-like starter Pokemon into a bipedal Pokemon. And I just wish they didn't do it. And then obviously the exception to that got me let up on that was Torracat, right? Because Torracat still was a cat-like Pokemon. So playing through the game, I was like, oh, we're gonna get a quadruped cat, a cat that stands up, has all 4 legs, and then he stands up and he becomes a wrestler. I was like, oh, kind of a letdown. And then Sprigatito in this gen also has the same issue where it's a cat And then after the first gen, it steps up onto 2 legs, and it's like, oh man, really? I just don't like it. I wish they'd keep some more of their Pokemon more animal-like. I don't doubt that Primarina is strong, but I just didn't like its design. And as much as it comes down to it, when you're a younger person playing Pokemon, you go, oh, this looks cool, rather than, oh, this has strong stats and abilities and a good, you know, nature to go with it. Oh, wow, I can use this for battling. You go, oh, fire cat, or oh, fire dog, you know, that's cool. Bagon's not a starter though. Official games, maybe in ROM hacks, but man, it was a Psyduck. I thought, oh, what's that weird Pokemon? Psyduck having a nap. I reckon I'm gonna run into another shiny Psyduck here as well. But given that how we're only hunting for a Croagunk, it should be okay. It should be only a slight difference in color. So we should be good. Shouldn't be too bad. Yes, I agree, Kevin. For me, Torracat is a much better looking Pokemon than Incineroar. And it kind of annoys me that Incineroar got into Smash. I feel like just because he's like a wrestling Pokemon, it just feels like that's what he was sort of designed for, I'll be honest. Like, he was designed to be put into a Smash game. Like, how he actually worked in game was a second thought. They were like, maybe we need another Pokemon in Smash. They gave Pikachu all of these costumes. They were like, well, Pikachu's already in it. You know, what do we do? Oh, let's make a wrestling camp that we can add into it later down the line. Oh yeah, Torracat is really good as well. I don't think Kevin is a very good name for a Croagunk. I want to kind of keep it in line with what I've been going with so far. So my choice in terms of the 2 that I put up for vote at the moment is Venom. Just because it's sort of like more relevant. Obviously, for those who aren't aware, we've got Simba, our shiny Luxio, and then Big Ben, our shiny Bronzor, who will obviously evolve into a Big Bell Pokemon. Hence why I went with Big Ben. And the combi that I was going to use for the run, but I inevitably decided against. Venom is losing by a lot, I know, but I personally prefer it over anything else. Also, it's not like the poll is you know, I have to follow the poll. I just interested to see what everyone thinks is better. Welcome in, Black. I would say long time no see, but I don't remember your username, so sorry to say. I don't know if we had someone pop in back in the day that kept changing their name every week, every few days, so it was kind of hard to follow who was who. But welcome back in. Nothing happened to the combi, Barry. It was just, sorry, Kevin. It was just that we found him in an outbreak, and I thought try and keep as fair to the rules that I set myself, even though it was technically a full spawn, it was caught in an outbreak. So I decided against using him. We still have him. He hasn't fainted or anything. He is still sitting in the box. He's sitting here in the box, so... Craggy does kind of... Craggy's a not bad name. But again, for what I was sort of going with, it kind of doesn't fit along with the line. But Craggy's not a bad name. I can say there's a lot of like not bad names, but obviously he looks like a frog, right? Like his little cheeks. I don't know what he's supposed to be in terms of like in-game lore, but what link, Hutch? I don't know what link you're referring to. But no, so Big Ben and Simba are obviously movies. So I was trying to think of any movie frogs or anything like that that would sort of work with that. Or are you talking about the linking between Big Ben and Simba? And obviously Barry B is supposed to be a play on Barry B Benson from B movie. Obviously Simba is a lion from The Lion King, another movie. From Flushed Away. What was his name? There was a couple, wasn't there? Because that was the whole point, was that his henchmen were frogs. Was it that his henchmen were frogs? Or that the guy was a frog? That could work. I'm gonna say I don't see a link, Hutch, so obviously it doesn't work. Oh, I'm gonna say they've been doing a lot of just little animations at the moment. They did obviously the Lechonk one. I saw the Lechonk one recently that came out on relatively recently. I think it was for April Fools. I like the one they did last year where it was all just Bidoofs. What was the frog's name from Flushed Away? It stumped me now because I've seen Flushed Away. I used to watch Flushed Away quite a lot, but is it LeFrog? Is he literally just called LeFrog? I mean, that could work. I could quite happily see LeFrog being the name of the Croagunk. That's his name, okay. Well, because he's French, obviously. That's why he's LeFrog. That could kind of work. Is there any others though? I just want to put a pin in it and just go, yep, that's what we'll do. LeFrog. I mean, it does kind of work. I do like it. I completely forgot that there was a frog in that movie. See, and now I'm already thinking of names for Pokemon for the next run. Who, for anyone who isn't aware, I was thinking after doing Sinnoh, depending on how much longer it takes to do, I was thinking of doing a Unova run. And for that, I was thinking of getting a Beartic, and now I'm thinking I'll call it Paddington. Croaker? Croaker's not bad, but I think at this point it's going to be very difficult to beat LeFrog. I'm going to be honest. Flushed Away, I think for its time was very much underrated. I loved it. But then, you know, mid-2000 to like 2010, any animated movie I've probably seen, and I probably enjoyed it in one way or another. If I go back to it now, I'm pretty sure I won't, you know, Kincaid Croak, Professor Rabbit. See, he's not really a ribbit. Ribbit kind of works, but not so much. Fortunately, Black, you came up with a killer name first. You came in swinging strong with the Lefrog. And now I'm comparing everything to Lefrog. Yeah, exactly. Lefrog Lechonk. I might have to try and see if I can get a shiny Lechonk as well. I don't have one yet on my Scarlet. Maybe it will be the last thing I do on this save. Is get a shiny Lechonk. Or inevitably wiping it. No, see, I think there is a character limit as well, so anything longer than like 12 or 13 characters just won't work. I also don't want anything that's too much of a mouthful. So I think I'm sold on Lefrog. Yeah, I haven't yet, Kevin. I don't have one on my Scarlet. I think I might have tried hunting for it for a little bit as well, using herbs, and I still don't have it. That makes me a bit sad. But maybe this weekend we'll do a Friday and a Sunday stream on getting ready for Typhlosion. I've got a load of Oshawott eggs I need to hatch. Yeah, see, I would love a Seismitoad. Seismitoad, I think, was a really cool design Pokemon, but fortunately, he's not in this game. Kind of makes me sad. But yeah. I mean, that just hurts me even more, Kevin. The fact that you weren't even trying. Shinies when you aren't trying are some of the best shinies because you're just like, you know, accidental shiny. But man, they're so demoralizing to other people. Or at least I think so. My nephew almost missed a shiny Pokemon. The only reason he didn't was because my brother told him that it was shiny because he saw it slightly differently off. Oh. I mean, yeah, shiny Fluttermane is also a really cool shiny, but yeah. And the only reason he noticed it was, the only reason he has it is because my brother noticed it for him. That made me even more jealous because I went through my entire Scarlet run without seeing a single wild shiny Pokemon. Which I think is the experience for most people. Shiny Wattrel and shiny Nactil. Nice, Virus. Oh, that's alright. I'm going to say it's a bit of an old video at this point, but all the steps still hold up, and obviously it's working for you, so I'm glad to hear that it's doing well. Yeah, see, I think some people just do get shinies at the very early stage of the game, Black. You know, but for me, I just went through my whole run without getting it. I was exactly the same in Legends Arceus. I pretty much played through the whole game, and I'd only got one shiny that spawned naturally. And I was just like, man, I'm just super unlucky. So I'm kind of glad they made shiny hunting easier, because it means even me, who has really bad shiny luck, can get shinies. But I just don't have luck with shiny Pokemon in these things. Although I will say I did get a full odd shiny in heart gold in our randomizer Nuzlocke, so I can brag about that, but that's really about it. And obviously we've been doing half decently in this run of Violet as well. I think we're up to like 10 shinies seen so far, so we're doing pretty good. And only 2 of them I've had to leave because I couldn't capture them. Yeah, Shinx. Yeah, see, I got a shiny Azurill as well while hunting down by oh, I was trying to hunt for 2 Pokemon at the same time and it just wasn't working out for me. But yeah, Virus, it's a really cool looking Pokemon. It's just a shame that everyone else but me seems to have cool stories about finding shiny Pokemon early in the game. I'm gonna say I had a shiny spawn quite quickly this playthrough. We had a shiny Pawmi spawn just up here not long after I left. I got out of the main tutorial bit because I was kind of hoping that I could get a Croagunk early on in the game, but unfortunately its level is just too high, so I couldn't. And to be fair, there's a high chance I've missed shinies. Not so much on this playthrough, but in my Scarlet one, I'm pretty sure I probably missed a good few shinies. Just because as soon as you can run around at, you know, super quickly and you can jump and fly, you know, it's very hard to go slow again. Don't get me wrong, obviously it's not impossible, but when you want to get around quickly, you're not really paying attention to every single Pokemon you come across. But no, I'm glad everyone but me seems to have incredible shiny luck. In all honesty, it makes me very, very jealous. You could all share a little bit of that luck with me. Maybe I'll find a shiny Croagunk today. But if not, I just have to continue the hunt. I'm okay with it taking 2 or 3 days, I'll be honest. I don't really want to continue the story until we get Croagunk. But, you know, we made good progress yesterday. We got 2 Titans and 2 gyms done yesterday, so we're on a very good roll at the moment. Chuckles. Now, Hamstreak. Chuckles is a very good name. Now, this is probably going to go over like everyone's head in chat. There was a comedy group called the Chuckle Brothers in the UK. Unfortunately, it's a very old like 90s TV show. And when I see the Chuckles, it just makes me think of the Chuckle Brothers, who for me as a child were, you know, peak comedy back in the late 90s, early 2000s. As a child. Oh man, I'm jealous, Virus. I would love a shiny Haxorus in this game. I mean, I'm going to get one, because I'm going to be doing a Unova run probably shortly after this run is finished. Because I want some of those Unova Pokemon shiny. I want Haxorus, I want Beartic, Crag, no, I can take it or leave it, but these are some Pokemon that I'd really love to get shiny, and then I can have an excuse to get them at full odds as well. I gotta say, Kevin, I haven't named any shiny legendaries. But then again, I don't really have a lot of shiny legendaries, so I haven't named them yet. To be fair, I'm not overly fond of naming Pokemon, but the idea for this sort of challenge is that you name them. Otherwise, I would just leave them all as basic you know, just Toxicroak or, you know, Croagunk or something like that. I can go through all of my... The only exception to that is all my Magikarps. My Magikarps I've started to name random stuff just because I have like 33 of them now. So 34 or 35 in total. So those ones I've started to name, but other than that, no, I'm very much... don't really name Pokemon all that much. I started to name shiny Pokemon after viewers in chat when I was hunting for them. But other than that, I don't know. So as far as we're aware, Hamstreak, the DLC is end of this year. We're getting it in 2 parts. The first part is in fall, the second part is in winter. Gunky sounds kind of horrible though, doesn't it? I gotta sit with a Gunky sitting on my team. I think we need to do the Lefrog test. I'm gonna come up with a new test for suggesting names. If you think you got a good name, pair it up against Lefrog. If you think it's better than Lefrog, you know, post it in chat. I'll read it. I'll put my verdict on it. But unfortunately, Black came in hitting heavy with the early Lefrog. And now I'm kind of set on Lefrog. Lefrog, the Toxicroak. Sounds kind of cool. But yeah, no, so that's what we know about the DLC, is that just fall and winter. We'll probably get a presents in like June, July. But, you know, before then, we don't have any more info on it, so... oh yeah, I can't believe it either, Hamstraight. Oh yeah, who would buy the DLC for a game? Guys, play horrible. I bought the game. I bought the DLC, but then you know, I also own both Pokemon games, so you know, I'm the sucker that buys pretty much everything that Pokemon puts out. So actually, that's not true because I don't have new Pokemon Snap yet. Evolve and Axew. Oh yeah, see, that's a good idea. That's a good idea, Virus. Put it over to the new games. The only thing that I will say against that is that if they keep like faithful remakes, you'll be able to get a shiny Haxorus in that game anyway. That's true. That's true. Battle Tower is definitely a thing that most people seem to want to come back, and I imagine they'll throw money at it. Oh yeah, I've done it for like every Pokemon game for the last 10 years, Hamstreak. At this point, I'm just an avid collector of the games. But then I make enough money that I can afford to splurge a bit on Pokemon games. So I'm more than happy to spend money on something I enjoy. I'm trying to think if there was any that I didn't buy. I mean, new Pokemon Snap. I never played Pokemon Snap, so for me it just wasn't a necessity to get. It's like Pokemon Unite as well. I tried Pokemon Unite for about 6 months. Never really got super into it, so I sort of gave up on it. So I don't love everything that Pokemon do. I know, Hamstreak, but, you know, I make money, I can spend it on what I like, and if what I like is Pokemon games, why not? You know, I think people who buy designer clothes is utterly pathetic. Why spend a load of money on designer clothes? But But you know, everyone has that thing that they're not willing to spend to spend money on that someone else is. For some people, that's Pokemon. For others, it's, you know, I mean, I'm going to be honest, I'm not a fan of the DLCs for Pokemon. I think there is definitely a better way to... It's just a case of they want to continue monetizing these games, right? So we no longer get a third game. I think Platinum was our last third game in a game series. But exactly, I don't need clothes to go outside, but I can cover myself in all my Pokemon games and then go down the street and be, you know, perfectly fine. But no, like, they stopped doing the third Pokemon game, so I think what they decided to do instead was DLC, especially after a few years of the Pokemon games doing okay. Especially because they're coming out relatively soon after, right? It makes you think that they shipped to these games as incomplete, and now they're tacking on the last bit of the game that they wanted to add all along, that they couldn't cram in time. Like, part of me just wishes is that they take their time with Gen 10. You know, let's not have a Pokemon, let's not have a new, like a brand new, like a main story Pokemon game for 3 or 4 more years. Just spend the time, you know, make it the best Pokemon game yet. Because again, the Pokemon games we've had on the Switch have been getting better and better, so just spend more time with it, go on with it. Reasonable price for a Ruby. What, like Omega Ruby, Alpha, you know, Omega, or Game Boy cartridge? Because the thing you've got to be careful of with Game Boy cartridge is whether or not it is official. Because you can get secondhand copies that aren't official, and I mean, they'll be cheaper, so it depends what you're into. But yeah, no, so, you know, kind of makes me understand where they're coming from. They want more money from Pokemon fans. Pokemon Go did really well with that. It's very hard to say. I don't know the condition that it's in or anything like that, but I know that some authentic copies are going for close to, like, at least over here in the UK, are going for close to $100. And that's just the cartridge itself, like no box or anything like that. So it's definitely not a cheap game, especially if it's authentic. Oh yes, exactly, Virus. So they're trying. I think what their initial goal is that they're building out the Pokemon world to be like a full globe, and I think eventually we'll get to the point where there'll be a Pokemon game that consists of every single Pokemon region, and it will be just the big, not necessarily the final main story Pokemon game, but a big, you know, anniversary for Pokemon. At this point, I'm probably thinking like 100-year anniversary. Let's be honest. I'm not Hutch, but I know most people listening are American, so it's like £80 to £90 is what I've seen for authentic Emerald games. So I would have to assume that it's similar for an official US, an official version. So I think my ones were about that much, but they're not authentic, sadly. Younger me thought they were, but they're not. You can tell, there's a couple of telling signs, unfortunately. When you boot it up, it will ask a question before you get into the load screen, which it doesn't do on the official copies of the game. And all of my Game Boy Advanced ones unfortunately have that. So I was like, maybe one day I'll get one. Oh yeah, Umbreon. I like Umbreon. I'd love a shiny Umbreon. was thinking maybe I'd, because you can get Eevee very early on in this game, like first gym. I was thinking maybe would it be a cool idea to do a playthrough of this game where you only use evolutions, like shiny evolutions. But I'm just thinking it's going to take a lot of work to shiny hunt Eevees to do that. Either Eevees and evolve them or find them out in the wild. I know it's possible because I got a shiny Umbreon, not shiny Umbreon, shiny Jolteon on my Scarlet out in the wild doing a bit of shiny hunting. So I know it's definitely doable, but you know, I reckon this year or the next Pokemon Presents will probably get an update on a remake or something like that. Because the issue is there's no real Pokemon game coming out this year, is there? There's just DLC. So... oh yeah, Chandelure as well. Man, there's just a lot of Pokemon that I would love to get shiny. Oh yeah, Zorua is a pickly Pokemon because its abilities, like in terms of like its lore, it is insane. And because you can get so many of them in this game, it makes you wonder if Zorua invaded Paldea. I mean, there's a lot of Unovan Pokemon in these games, which to me definitely indicates a possible remake of Unova coming down the line. But I mean, it's got like, this game has got like 40 Pokemon from each region in it, so you know, it's more a case of they're all very much even in that aspect, right? But no, it's definitely seeming that Croagunk spawns more at night than it does in the day here. You can get some pockets of them spawning quite a bit, but mostly it's taken up by other Pokemon. Oh yeah, that's true. Pokemon Go is a game that I'd like to play more of, but I like being inside too much. That's all it comes down to, really. But you know, I live in an alright area for it. There's a lot of Pokestops around where I live, and you know, if I wanted to walk a little bit, I'm sure I could get some cool Pokemon, but it's just one of those Pokemon games like Pokemon Masters. Pokemon Masters I've sort of seen a bit on, and it kind of looks cool, but I've never really played it. But you know, I think there's a lot of lesser known Pokemon games. It's like I'm thinking about buying Pokemon Colosseum because I recently got a GameCube. And I was like, oh, I kind of want to get Pokemon Colosseum. But even that, it's still very expensive even today. And it's a game that's like 20 years old at this point. Fortunately for me though, I think I'm spending more money this month on my computer than I am on anything else. Just to upgrade it a little bit. I have no real problems with it, luckily, but I want to make some changes to it, and due to my line of work, I have access to more components and things like that, so making a change to my computer is quite easy. Oh no, I'm talking about like GameCube Coliseum. I didn't realize they did it on the Wii. I thought it was just GameCube. At least that's the one that I'm looking at buying. Because again, I was kind of thinking of shiny hunting in that as well at some point. There's a lot of shiny hunts that I'd love to do. And I think I'm going to slowly work through most of them and just start working on them. Like, I want to finish BDSP and get all of the shiny legendaries and mythicals in that. And I'm yet to even really start that. Hey Remco, how are you doing today? Hope your Tuesday is going well. Oh, are they? Oh, that kind of makes me feel stupid. I mean, I bought the GameCube for the Game Boy Player rather than the rather than being able to play Game Boy games on it, but oh man, it's kind of annoying. Oh well. I have it now, so I can play actual GameCube games on it, so that's a bonus. Chimchar, Remco. Always and forever Chimchar. GameCube controllers. Yeah, I do have one, but they work on the Wii. Oh man. That's annoying. Now, can I do the reverse? Can I use my Wii Fit board on my GameCube? Can I play Pokemon with a Wii Fit board? Feel like that would be cool if I could do it. Oh. Oh yeah, see, I didn't know that. But no, that's cool. It's a shame I can't. I would really love to. See, sometimes they just attack you from so far away. Wouldn't mind if you were a shiny Croagunk, but you're not. But no, so it would have been nice to know before I spent a buttload of money on a GameCube, but you know, I've got one now, so I can proclaim that I own one. I did a very similar thing with my Game Boys. I bought a load of Game Boy consoles, well, within the last sort of 2 years, because I was like, you know what, I want to collect them. I've never owned them. I want to collect them. So I've got an original, I got an advanced, I got a pocket, I got 2 pockets. I'm just really missing a color and an SP for my collection. And I'm going to buy them at some point. I just haven't gotten around to finding them yet. But I'm a sucker. Kind of just wanted them so I could play the Pokemon games. I bought them and then I was like, oh, why not get a GameCube with a Game Boy player so I can play them while sitting in my chair and have them on the TV. That's what I ended up doing. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's the price of them that's the problem. I said Remco, Chimchar all the way. Chimchar and only Chimchar. There is no other option for me. I like a load of other shinies, but my favorite is Chimchar. I say it might be that after we finish this Violet run, I finish some of my shiny hunts that I've sort of left for a while. Go back to Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, soft reset for Palkia, and then finish that game. Yeah, any shiny. The issue with the like owning the consoles themselves is that you can't really like stream off of them unless you mod them. And the modding costs a lot of money. Which is a bit of a shame. Because of the fact that, like I say, if you give me a timestamp, Remco, I'll go back and have a look. But at this point, I am only looking for a Croagunk. So if I saw one, then it is 100%. My bad. But yeah, you can't really stream off of them. So that's why I went with the GameCube, because I can just plug it into my capture card and stream off of it. Rayquaza is a really good shiny. It's a really cool looking shiny as well. Not a bad choice at all. But yeah, no, definitely seems like Croagunk is spawning much less throughout the day. Maybe I just need to go back and finish a load of the shiny hunts that I started and haven't finished yet. Like, I also want to do all of the ones that I need to do for the method on Scarlet, but that's probably going to be a much longer and difficult task. So I was just going to ignore that for the moment. But I want to legitimately get a load of shiny legendaries. And for me, the Gen 4 games are a good start, but I'm going to need to also do my sword playthrough. So then I can play Crown Tundra and Isle of Armor, both of which I haven't done yet. Even though I own both of them. But we'll see, I might do it as a little in-between break where I just, for a week or so, I just go back to Pearl and just to Shining Pearl and just try and see how far I can get on that, doing some shiny hunting. While in between also maybe doing every other day streams and maybe look at making more shorts. It'll be good to try and just tweak my workflow until I find something that works. See, naming it Le Frog, it's not silly. Le Frog is lovely. Symbol, for what? Stith Cloth, Universal. Oh, Symbol. I read that. Yeah. Symbol rather than Timble. I thought he was going to say Cilia. Le Frog works. Le Frog is a tough, manly name. But yeah, no, it's just a case of I want to try and find a workflow that works. I'm going to say, I don't know how many people found who come into the stream, found the channel off of the shorts, and you know, see that the channel is live and go on, cool, you know, I'll check it out or whatever. So it's hard to say whether shorts helped. Oh, well, thanks, Remco. It's not necessary, but you know, it's always up to your choice to do it, and I'm grateful that you you've chosen to do so. But yeah, like I've noticed, obviously the views on the channel flatline when I haven't been uploading shorts. But don't get me wrong, I knew it was going to happen. I wasn't expecting the streams to suddenly gain thousands of views. But obviously the issue with that is that I either sacrifice sleep or work to stream 3 hours a day and upload shorts. Because I don't really plan on, doing YouTube as a job. I'm quite happy to not sacrifice anything. Just do what I want to do. Shorts were good, but I got to the day where I was just like, no shorts and panicking, going, I need to get something up. I just didn't like it. Yeah, exactly, Virus. Lefrog is super, super strong. Lefrog works, but Lefrog is also hiding from me, so maybe Lefrog doesn't like the name Lefrog. Which is a bit of a bummer. Shiny Wobbuffet, I got a Kyogre. It depends, Remco. Did you need Kyogre? Do you have more shiny Wobbuffets? Like, I think a legendary for a shiny is a good trade, so long as you, like, if you don't have the shiny but you want the shiny kind of thing, right? Does it pump? Couldn't get away. At this point, I'm honestly scared that even if I run into one, I probably am not going to be able to capture it. Not easily anyway, just due to the fact I have no way of putting it like to sleep or anything like that. So I've got to sort of hope that that I can get it low enough that it will capture without putting up too much of a fight. Exactly. So I think that's a good trade. You got what you wanted. You weren't overly happy with the shiny anyway. Yeah, I think that's a perfectly fine trade. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing a trade like that. It's value on both parties' side, isn't it? Especially if you can't get it. So that's the only thing, is that obviously the Pokemon in raids only show up. They only cycle through every so often, so it might be a little while until another one shows up. I didn't really even notice that Wobbuffet has a different look to its male or female forms. It's not been something that I've paid huge attention to. See, if I did a gen... yeah, I'm not sure. Still trying to decide that. I think now that I'm more prepared for this run, I think doing after this run is finished, doing maybe a Unova run could be quite interesting. Or like an Eevee only run. Shiny Eeveelution run only. I feel like that would be quite fun. What's that? Oh, it's a sleeping Wooper. It's hidden in the ground. Silly Wooper. Just gonna slowly just start chanting Lefrog until Lefrog shows up. Now, does the Le wear a little hat? Obviously, if it's French, I don't know if it wears a little hat. But no, hopefully, I mean, we're only like an hour today, so an hour and a half. So we're about halfway through the hunt, at least for today. We've been averaging so far about a shiny every 2 hours. So we should be due one relatively soon. Whether it's Croagunk or something else, I do not know. Favorite shiny, favorite legendary and mythical. Oh, now those two are hard. While I'm doing a spot of thinking, what did you get today, Remco? What's something fun you got today? Legendary and mythical. Legendary and mythical. I think for both it would have to be a Gen 4 Pokemon. I think legendary, it would have to be... Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not 100% sure on this. Darkrai. Is Darkrai a legendary or a mythical? I always thought Darkrai was a legendary, but then its counterpart, Cresselia, I'm pretty sure is a mythical. For some reason I thought they were both mythicals. Oh nice, Shiny Drifting is a really cool shiny Pokemon. I unfortunately don't have any yet. I was hoping to get one from an outbreak that I had previously on my Scarlet game, but when I got to the outbreak there were no Pokemon there, and it turned out that they were spawning in the floor as per normal. Yeah, the pooper is taking a bath in the ground. Okay, if Darkrai is legendary, I'll go Darkrai as my legendary. And then mythical. See, mythical is tough because I'm not 100% sure on what Pokemon are mythical or not. I mean, if I had to pick, it's like, I don't know, Shaman I'm pretty sure is legendary. There's obviously Manaphy. I really like Manaphy. The Lake Trio as well. Hooper I think counts as a legendary. Yeah, see, so that's what I mean. I don't know if it's so if Bulbapedia is saying it's a mythical, I'll go with it as a mythical. And I'll probably be very similar to you, Virus, in that Giratina and Darkrai, I think, are my favorite legendary and mythical respectively. I loved the Darkrai movie when it came out. I think it was a really good Pokemon movie. But again, I haven't really seen any more since that Pokemon movie. So I've seen the very first few. Like I've seen, you know, Mewtwo, first one, Pokemon movie 2000 and things like that. So yeah, according to X, exactly. Yeah. It always just makes you feel a bit nerdy whenever you have to say, according to the source material or anything like that. Exactly. It's like when I was talking about some of the lore stuff the other day. That's exactly how I felt. Or I was trying to figure out why in the Pokemon games, Palkia and Dialga don't have their origin forms. I was like, well, you know, is it because according to the lore, you know, like Arceus creates new time and space gods to replace the ones every time they're captured by a trainer, and he snipped those forms out, so those forms only exist in Dialga and Palkia in the Cherish Ball, in the Origin Ball and whatnot. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, getting beaten up for being the nerd. I think Hooper does a really big chain in that plan, being able to literally summon Pokemon from wherever, right, with its movie. So technically Wooper could also summon the origin forms of Dialga and Palkia. But you know, it's something that I don't see anyone talking about. First ever shiny. Oh god. I have no idea. Probably, no, I'll tell you what it is. Shiny Haxorus. And that's only because it was given to you in Unova. That is the only... that was my first shiny, and it was a given one. Didn't even really work for it. After that, I don't know. But no, my first one is 100% more than likely shiny Haxorus. Which is a little bit sad, considering I see lots of people who do the shiny challenges and shiny Pokemon on YouTube are like, I've been shiny hunting for 10 years. I'm like, I've been shiny hunting really for 2. And it's like, oh goodness. You know, I haven't had 10 years of shiny hunting experience or anything like that. I didn't really care. I don't really care about shiny Pokemon anyway. They're only like a cool aesthetic thing, but I wanted to shiny hunt, so I forced myself to do it by creating the channel. Welcome in, No. Hello, No. How's your Tuesday going? Yeah, I have no idea. Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Gyarados. Shiny Gyarados is probably another one of my very early only shiny Pokemon. Oh no, I guess that would make shiny Gyarados my first one. It's Hot Gold and Soul Silver. So no, that's a lie. Haxorus wouldn't be my first. It'd be the shiny Gyarados. You're forced to, well, you're not forced to capture it because you can KO it, but no, that's the first shiny Pokemon that I had. Which I think is kind of sad. But to be fair, I don't think I knew shiny Pokemon even existed until I ran into that. Not really, Remco. Not if it's like super bad. It's only, you know, offensive is not something you want to proclaim that you are doing or being. Okay, I don't think that's too bad. But no, it just makes me feel bad when you know, I've not been shiny hunting for well, I've pretty much been shiny hunting for as long as I've had this YouTube channel. A little bit later on. I think I started in like April or May last year was when I really got into it. It's going. I don't think it's going too well. No, unfortunately, we've not run into anything yet. But we are only an hour and a half in, so we do have a bit more time. It could be we run into something soon. It could be that I've already missed something because I've been zooming around at super speed. but you know, I reckon we'll get one. We'll get one eventually. Favorite shiny that I've got? Oh, it have to be Magikarp. I only have a few of them though. What am I up to? Like 3 boxes? No, I've only got 1 box of shiny Magikarps, but enough to probably open a sushi restaurant and just serve up shiny Magikarps. That's not a dark image. I don't know what it is. It's a good one as well. The issue that I have with the Magnemite line is that they're very, very similar. It's very hard to tell that they're shiny. But no, overall of all time, my favorite shiny Pokemon that I have is shiny Chimchar. And I got that in late last year, I think. I soft resetted for it in BDSP. What is it? Oh, nice. Alpha Lopunny, nice. Yeah, 2 of them. I managed to accidentally run into a shiny Graveler, a shiny Alpha Graveler. But yeah, a lot of shinies are just they're, you know, they're kind of meh, I'll be honest. Oh, Tyranitar is a good reason. I mean, you can get them in the other game, right? Either by trading or the raids. Later on in the game. Hey Dino Bean Boy, how are you doing today? I hope your Tuesday is going well. It did it again where it freaked me out for a second. I'm thinking it's a different day of the week. Oh well, welcome in Dino. You'll find that there's probably a lot of Pokemon fans in here, seeing as how, you know, it's a Pokemon channel. And we're talking about Pokemon, so welcome in. Hopefully you enjoy your stay. All is well. How's the hunt? Yeah, hunt's going meh. We might run into something soon though. We're approaching the roughly 2-hour mark for a shiny Pokemon, so fingers crossed we'll get it soon, and then we can add Lefrog to the team. And once we get Lefrog, we can continue with the story. All right, Remco. Yeah, I mean, let's say streaming again tomorrow. Streaming again Thursday, same time. Streaming again Friday, same time. So pretty much any day of the week around this time I'll be streaming. So you're more than welcome to come back whenever you find yourself available and you see that I'm live and you want to hop in. So yeah, thanks for stopping by. I'll see you later. Good luck with the Roblox. Hope you have fun. But yeah, what's your you have a favorite Pokemon, Dino? Do you have a few favorite Pokemon? Do you have any favorite shiny Pokemon? Does his eyes flash? Oh yeah, it shows you the stream, doesn't? Or is that his tail? I think that's his tail, isn't it? Oh, it stops and his eyes flash. Oh yeah, he's dizzy. That's what's happening. Is that you're spinning him around, getting a dizzy boy. Very, very dizzy. Koraidon does something similar as well. I like when you're going fast and you bash them into something that they can't traverse, like the poles, and they sort of like bonk their head sense. I know it's probably animal cruelty, but I think it is it's quite good. I think it's interesting. Like they do it with trees as well, don't they? Yeah, when they bash into something. You might even run into another shiny Psyduck, as much as I don't want another one. Oh, the little lizard. Yeah, the little the one with the one that's based off the like the Dimorphodon. Right, I think that is. Oh no, the little lizard is in. Yeah, I'm now thinking of other Pokemon. Yeah, exactly. I don't think he's a lizard though, is he? Is he a lizard? Kind of looks more like an eel. I just don't understand how some of these Pokemons can classify as legendary, right? Because if the time machine was still active, technically you can get multiple from the time, because in theory these are all common a common Pokemon in their times, right? So is it literally just, would you classify a Hisuian Growlithe in modern day Sinnoh to be a legendary? That's the question for you. Would you count Hisuian Pokemon in modern day Sinnoh to be legendary? Because according to this game, they should be. Oh, thank you very much, Dino. Like I said to Remco earlier, you don't have to. I appreciate it. And you're welcome back anytime. But it's an interesting query, isn't it? If they count. A lizard reptile mix, yeah. As well as it's, you know, these wheels physically turn, so it's obviously not a living creature. It's a motorcycle. But I definitely think something like that is an interesting question that needs to be brought up if we're bringing all these Pokemon back to modern day, right? Any past Pokemon that's brought to modern day, in theory, according to how Scarlet and Violet treat Pokemon from the past, should be legendary. But only certain Pokemon, right? Like all of the Paradox Pokemon, technically ancient Pokemon, aren't legendaries. They're common. Given that only 2 Miraidons and 2 Koraidons came through the portal, is that the only reason that they're legendaries? Like, if we only brought back 1 Hisuian Growlithe, would that be a legendary Pokemon? Because there would only be 1. Right? Because technically, if you try to interbreed it, it would just be a regular modern-day Growlithe. Although, obviously, you can do a method to make it so that the Pokemon that pops out is Hisuian. So, maybe it's not. Chimchar. Dino. 100%. Chimchar. Only Chimchar, forever Chimchar. Chimchar is my little baby. I might need to get some more art commissioned. Of my character with a Chimchar. So, got my. I have no idea what that Pokemon is, Dino. I don't even think I can pronounce it. Or at least, unless that's autocorrect. In which case, I definitely can't pronounce it because I've not seen a Pokemon name like that. Toxicity is a really good Pokemon. Feel it for me. Yeah, no, I feel like previous regional forms were okay, but going back further than that just kind of doesn't feel right. You know, it sort of messes with the whole, you know, concept of a couple of Pokemon, right? Lucario. If it's Lucario, yeah, Lucario is a really cool Pokemon. Maybe we'll, if we don't find Lefrog, maybe we'll go and see if we can get a shiny Riolu to spawn. I wouldn't mind getting one, even if I don't end up using it, but I kind of feel like I'm not going to go for a Staraptor at any point now, so getting a Riolu might be a nice addition to the team. Get a Soothe Bell and just try and max out its friendliness. Again, I was apprehensive about getting a Shinx for this run. I got a Shinx, it made this run so much easier. It does mean we're very susceptible to fire types though, but I don't think we've got that issue until we run into Team Starfire. So it's I think it's worth just thinking about it. Well, how long have we got left on? Oh, this sandwich has run out. Yeah, let's go over and have a look. We'll do an hour of looking for maybe a shiny Riolu. We'll see. If we get it, I'll take it. I'll add it to the team. But now the problem is I need a name for it. Like, it's all well and good getting one, but I need a name for it. Favorite Gen 4. I don't know why you're bothering to ask, Virus. I think at this point you know before I even say what it is. It's Chimchar. I love Chimchar. If there was the starter Pokemon in this game, I would have shiny hunted for them long time ago. But unfortunately there's not, so I have to make do with others. Being Toxicroak, Shinx is alright. I like Shinx, but it's just gold, so Bronzor, I wish Bronzor was a more vibrant green, but Chimchar 100% all the way. Shiny, non-shiny. You know, Chimchar carried my first run, so it is pretty much just Chimchar. I don't really want another gold Pokemon, but if I get one, I'll take it. But given that, you know, we've got level 2 power, we might also run into a Pawmi or something like that, but we'll see. So level 2 power should make this go quite quick. As long as I get lucky. See. Might do only one sandwich and then I might go, what time is it? Yeah, 2 hours. We'll do one sandwich here and then maybe go back and check for Croagunk depending on the time of day. If I get a shiny Murkrow, I might evolve it to a shiny Honchkrow and add it to the team. But yeah, look at all of these Riolus. The best place to hunt for it. Yeah, we're getting Typhlosion. Typhlosion's not a bad shiny, but not a bad fire type shiny, but man, Chimchar for me. His story in the anime was really good. Just as an all-round Pokemon, I love him. You can get him with Grass Knot. you know, just as a Pokemon, I really loved it. Turtwig is a really good one as well. I'm a sucker for all Gen 4 starter Pokemon. Piplup, I love. Piplup is super adorable, but I think most of that is due to the anime. I loved Dawn's Piplup in the anime, and I loved its dynamic with Gibble as well, with the Draco Meteor and things like that. So there's a lot of Gen 4 Pokemon that I love. I'll be honest, all my favorite Pokemon are Gen 4 Pokemon. Or most of them are, because that's what I grew up playing. So for me, it's silly. It's hard to say that I prefer other Pokemon more, but eventually there might be Pokemon that take that spot, but at the moment that's not the case. So it is pretty much just Sinnoh. Trying to think if there's any Pokemon in recent history that might have climbed up that ladder. I know Haxorus definitely did when Shiny Haxorus was a thing, or is a thing. I think other than that, I can't think of anything that I'm like, I love that shiny so much more than these shinies. Ooh, Gen 1 favorite. Now that's more of a challenge. It might have to be Dragonite. Shiny form aside, because I hate Dragonite shiny, but I love Dragonite as a Pokemon. Dragonite was really cool. Raining Kiss might come in handy if I can actively teach it to anything. Yeah, and then Gen 2. I love Totodile in Gen 2. Totodile Gen 2? I think Totodile is Gen 2, isn't it? Was it Gen 3? No, Gen 3 was Trico. Yeah, so Gen 2. Yeah. I think they were trying to see what sort of ends of the spectrum that they could go with in the first gen. I mean, you also have to remember Gen 1 was, 25 years ago. Now they sort of know what to make Pokemon look like that will make Pokemon that they can sell merchandise for. Because it's obviously now it's a bigger picture than it was before. Like, oh yeah, Dragonairs and Dragonite, I love their shinies. Their shinies are so cool, and then it just becomes like a horrible green. I hated it. No, like, now they make Pokemon specifically for merchandise, and you can see it in some of the Pokemon designs, right? Like Lechonk. Lechonk, I can't see it being useful for anything other than merchandise. As cool as it looks, it is literally just an adorable, round, easy to make plushie that you can sell. And I think that's where they make most of their money anyway. The whole Pokemon anime, and things like that. Especially, as long running as the anime has been going on for, it's not cheap to do anime episodes. And granted, some episodes cost more than the others, from what I'm aware of. So, it could be that it's a good moneymaker for them. It's a good platform for their merchandise, right? Welcome in, WJN. Hope your Tuesday is going well. But yeah, no. Charizard is a very good one as well, but I feel like a lot of people love Charizard. So I had to go with an option that wasn't one of the very few, you know, everyone typically loves this shiny Pokemon. So instead I went with another one that typically lots of people probably love. And that's obviously Dragonite. I mean, Snorlax is also a pretty good choice from Gen 1. Because it's a very unique Pokemon in how you acquire it, right? In that you have to find a flute to wake it up. I was like, that's really cool. See, I haven't seen either of them. Well, I know Shiny Lechonk is pink, but I haven't seen Oinklong's shiny yet, so I don't know what it looks like. I could look it up, but I kind of want to see the surprise for when I get it. Yeah, maybe Shiny Riolu is also another Pokemon that would be a pain in the butt to hunt. But no, Lechonk, I feel like there's a lot of Pokemon that they make that sole purpose is to sell plushies. It's like why they keep cycling Pikachu clones, right? They're trying to make the next Pikachu that they can use as a poster to sell it. Chimchar, Dino. Chimchar, only Chimchar. Forever Chimchar. I might need to look at getting an emote made that is just a picture of Chimchar holding a sign. It's just that's only, so then it's only Chimchar. Forever and always. See on me while I'm doing other stuff. I mean, if it's pink, then that's really cool. I haven't seen it yet, so I'll have to get one soon so I can actively look at it. Bask in its glory. I think that's the correct use of the term. No, not bathe. I think bask is the correct term. But definitely thought there might be more in terms of the Riolu spawns. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of them. Yeah, oh yeah, like, you know, the whole plushie of cute Pokemon really works. Like, you know, I was thinking of getting a one of the big Arcanine plushies. But then I saw the price and I was like, I don't need it. And our dog will most likely try and rip it to shreds. So I thought maybe it's best not to. And then I saw the viral IRL or real, you know, realistic sized Lucario. And I was like, ooh. Kind of want that, but I was like, what am I gonna do with a 5-foot Lucario? Shiny Charizard is also really, really good. Yeah. So yeah, lots of I feel like a lot of the early stage shinies were really good, and then they just sort of got lazy with them. I mean, Dragonite, I think, is a good example. If Dragonite shiny was much cooler, I would actively hunt for it, but Garchomp is another really good example of that, where they do a really good battle Pokemon really, really dirty with its shiny. Okay, is there any point in getting a shiny Garchomp other than Sparkle at the beginning of a fight? Like, I don't think so, because it just looks so similar. So it's like, oh. I just wish that some of these Pokemon would have better shinies. I'm going to go back and go to Croagunk. I really want Croagunk. Purple and black. Purple, black and gold. I feel like they're the 3 shiny colors that the Pokemon company is like, we can do shinies in these colors like in our sleep. Obviously Rayquaza looks really good. Purple and pink, obviously you got the Pawmi line, and now, you know, obviously Lechonk is pink. Obviously Flamingo is a lighter shade of pink, but it's still technically pink. But I just feel like they need to broaden the horizons on their shinies just a bit more. Like, where's the rainbow shiny Pokemon? Where's my rainbow colored Garchomp that has every color of the rainbow possibly on it? You know, things like that. There's a lot more colors that they could do, and a lot of them, don't get me wrong, I understand that there's, you know, 1,000 different Pokemon, and you've got to do regular colored forms for them and then shiny forms for them as well. So it could be in the future we see shiny forms get sort of slowly moved and put away, just due to the fact that they've decided that there's no, you know, no real use for them. All right, Dino, thanks for stopping by. Hope you have a good rest of your day. But, you know, it'll be interesting to see, given how easy they're kind of making them now. Kind of makes me think that they're trying to sort of phase out the importance of them, because maybe they're thinking of getting rid of them. Who knows? Obviously, shiny looking starters and shiny looking legendaries is a big step towards the whole shiny is not something we want you to actively look for in these games. Like, it's just a little side thing on the side that you can do if you want. Obviously, then they made the sandwiches, which give you much better, higher chance of finding a shiny. You know, making it feel like they're trying to flood the market with as many shinies as possible. So then, when they stop doing them, you know, it will be like, well, we don't really care about shinies because they were so common. So, you know, who knows? But what's annoying is that obviously they've given Pokemon that they've shiny locked shiny forms, being the Treasures of Ruin. They gave them all shiny forms, but locked them. It's like, why bother making a shiny form for Pokemon you're not going to give us? Same with Koraidon and Miraidon. Kind of wish they just didn't make a shiny version of them. At least then we would know that they just didn't want shiny of those Pokemon to be out. But, you know, I'm not a Game Freak designer or anything like that, so I sort of just have to go via how they're presenting it out to the world, right? And that's, we're gonna make shiny hunting easier to the point where you can basically bring your odds down to 1 in 512, like very, very easily, or at least 1 in 600 very easily. And then we're gonna lock some or certain Pokemon behind a wall where you can't even get to them unless you go to this event at this time and they give them out. You know, not Game Freak, like GameStop codes and whatnot. Like they did for Zacian and the other one, where they gave out codes for it, and that was the only way to get the shinies. That feels kind of lame because you isolate a lot of people who can't make it to that event or who can't, you know, do it. Like, to me, in a community as large as the Pokemon community, you don't really want to isolate people if you can help it, right? Like, the whole idea is that you fostered this community of really passionate people who care about your product. And then you're like, well, you can only get this really cool thing if you've been to this event or something like that. So I was tempted to maybe go to the Worlds event in London this weekend, but it's not my kind of thing. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure I'd really enjoy the limited edition merch, but you know, other than that, I don't really care about competitive Pokemon, so I'd literally just be going there for the merch. And it's not worth the trip to London for merch. Fuel costs or train ticket costs, and then having to walk around London to then just come back with maybe a new t-shirt or something like that. That's going to be overpriced. Let's be honest, at these sort of events, they're always way more expensive than they need to be. And I'm sure the quality will be fantastic, but you know, not everyone can make it to those events, and the limited edition merch is cool if you live in London and you're like, well, I'll just pop down for this weekend, go and see what's going on. It might be that I get dragged up though. If I do, I might try and take some pictures, put them on the community tab for anyone who is interested in seeing what it is like inside the if I go. I'm not saying I'm going. I don't know how I would bother doing it. Or if I would even want to. It's a lot of effort for, frankly, not a lot. Was that? No, just a regular. Just a regular. No more shinies. Hey Sid, how are you doing today? Hope your Tuesday is going well. Hope you've been doing good. Just been rambling at the moment about Pokemon events and got going on this weekend. Just about how I might or might not go, but probably on the might not side. While slowly going insane hunting for a slightly different coloured frog. Oh, that's bad. That's not good to hear, Sid. But you know how it is. Some days are up, some days are down. But on the whole, it should even itself out by the end. Got left on this sandwich 12. Hey Mew, how are you doing today? I hope your Tuesday is going well. I keep almost forgetting what day of the week it is. What, you want to know? Yeah, 2 more people. I mean, Virus, it does very much change on the day. Sundays Sunday's chats are a bit more active than the midday week chats, but you know, it is what it is. People come and people go. I understood what you meant. Yeah, when you get Pokemon on the mind, it's very easy to slip it into other conversation. Well, it's good to hear, Mew. Glad to hear your day's going well. Oh, I've been yawning an awful lot this evening. To the point where you do, and then it's just on the mind. Oh, it's a bit. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love talking about the different changes that you see throughout the Pokemon gens, but I feel like when you start on something, I find it very difficult to stop. Mainly because there's no one that can shout at me to shut up. I might be rambling for 10 minutes and then look over and chat, and you all tell me to stop speaking nonsense or something like that, but I can just ramble to myself for hours. I mean, proof I have been doing it now for, what are we on, like 7 or 8 days? So definitely a challenge that I've noticed with streaming, you know, every day, is that it's gets to a point, typically around this point of the stream, where I'm just sort of out of stuff to talk about. Chat's quieting down a bit, so there's not a lot going on, and I just need to start rambling to myself. If you like unhinged rambles about Pokemon stuff, last half an hour of the stream is probably the best time to tune in. I'll be honest. So our previous ones have been on Dialga and Palkia origin forms, and why they're not in the Sinnoh games, you know, from a lore perspective, not from obviously they didn't exist back in 2009 when they created the generation, and it was a later one. To what else have I rambled about recently? I guess today's one has been mostly about Pokemon merchandise, and why I think that Pokemon is definitely moving towards more of a, I mean, it always has been a very profitable franchise, but if you can make 2 or 3 Pokemon in each generation, you're sort of poster child for that generation. In this case, like Lechonk, and then you just basically you just do plushes around Lechonk, and you do an April Fool's around Lechonk, and you know, you push Lechonk, things like that, then you get a Pokemon that can make you a lot of money, like Pikachu. Pikachu has been I would imagine, a huge moneymaker for Game Freak over the years. Hence why we get so many quote-unquote Pikachu clones, like 1 a year at least, because they're like, Pikachu sells well, so let's just make more Pikachus. So that's why we get one pretty much guaranteed every year. But one of these times, I'll do a circle in the middle of one of my unhinged rambles, and I'll run into a shiny Lefrog, which will be nice. Because I'd very much like one. I mean, this might have to continue into tomorrow, which will be fine. it'll just be a case of what we do Wednesday. Because originally Wednesday I was planning on going back to my Scarlet game and hatching a load of eggs. Oh, that's not good, virus. Reminding you of something. My rambles. That's worrying if there's anything. Yeah, that's what I mean. Exactly. So Lechonk is the poster child of this generation. And that's sort of what I'm referring to with that, was that obviously their aim for it was that Lechonk would be this Pokemon that they could do that thing with, right? I think last year was Bidoof, because, you know, everyone was talking about Bidoof last year, the year before. So in that sort of aspect, it makes sense. But, you know, as a Bidoof fan, Bidoof Day kind of made sense. You know, it means the shrine in my room to Bidoof isn't pointless. At least for that one day. But, you know, it also means that it feels like half of what they do now is, let's design some really cool Pokemon, like Baxilier. Like, that's a really cool Pokemon, but his like pre-evolution is like very, very cutesy, and it's like, okay, so, you know, you could argue merchandise, but then obviously Gibble is very, very cute and adorable. It evolves into Garchomp. So maybe I'm just reading more into this than I need to, and it doesn't mean anything, and that's just their design process for Pokemon. And so they go, you know, we need X many 3-stage evolution Pokemon and things like that, and then they sort of build that off the building blocks. But, you know, I'm really surprised today we haven't run into a shiny yet. Venice we could have, and I could have just missed it. But I'm hoping that that is not the case. You know, I think Goomy I might have been able to spot. Croagunk definitely. Flamingo I probably would have been able to tell. Wooper I'm hoping that I would have been able to tell. Goomy is up or down, whether or not I would have spotted it. But Bellybolt's pre-evolution. Tadpole? I probably wouldn't be able to tell, because I think the only tell is that the tip of the tail is red instead of orange. And I'm not paying that much attention for it, because it is a very minute change. Yeah, it kind of does feel like that it's, I mean, a lot of Pokemon that I think are very much just redesigns of other Pokemon. Don't get me wrong, it makes sense with the number of Pokemon that they've made and that they keep making, right? But I doubt we're going to get into a situation where we're going to have every single Pokemon in a Pokemon game going forward, which is a shame, unless they do a Pokemon World game, you know, 100-year Pokemon game, you know, 100-year celebration. We're releasing Pokemon World, you know, a Pokemon game where you travel to every Pokemon region and whatnot. But at that point, I feel like they're definitely getting to the point where they're every 2 or 3 years they're adding in a new area of the world that they can fill in. It's just like dartboard of the world and just throw it. Hey Jiraiya, how are you doing today? How is your Tuesday going? You join us at the point of the stream where I'm just rambling about Pokemon. That typically happens around this time in the stream, so you are more than welcome to stay and listen, or if you decide that you can't put up with my insane rambling, that is completely understandable. 2 minutes. We're going to do one more fighting sandwich after this, and then it'll probably be while we're in the stream today. Hopefully we get a shiny soon. Yeah, it's been going good. Work hasn't been too busy lately, and I'm not super exhausted, which I had been the last few days. So not being super tired and actually still being relatively awake while streaming is a good start. So yeah, good start to the week so far. Good, but it's good to hear your day is going well. I might need to consider reaching out to some artists soon for some emote ideas for the channel. While I'm just talking to myself. But it's something that I would really like to think about getting in place before too long anyway, so it might be that I okay, that's good. I only think I got it right, and the only reason I think I got it right, funny enough, is because of Naruto. Jiraiya, obviously, from that. I don't know if that's where your name comes from. I wouldn't dare try and pronounce your last name because I would probably butcher that, but sorry if I have just ruined your name for you. But I'm glad I got the pronunciation right. I should put a disclaimer somewhere being like, I may or may not pronounce your name correctly. But obviously, like, virus is, I can manage virus. I can manage Sid I can manage. And I can manage Nono as well. Nono is definitely doable. But there are a lot of names. That's where I've got the pronunciation from. I don't know if that's where your name came from or anything like that. But I believe that's where I got the pronunciation for the spelling. So I don't know if that's, you know, where your name came from or anything like that. That's just where I know that pronunciation of the name from. So if that pronunciation is correct, either, you know, your parents copied it, or now, you know, the anime industry copied your name, or vice versa. But it's a good name. It is definitely more interesting than mine, even if it is slightly harder to pronounce. Hey Ashtar, see Ashtar, another very simple, easy to pronounce name. How's your Tuesday going, Ash? Is it all good? I hope it's going well. We got sandwich run out yet? Okay, there we go. One more sandwich. Fingers crossed we can get Lefrog. Should also level up Big Ben as well. Oh. Who's the Pikachu? I'll try and make it similar to how the design is on from the picture. I feel like they have a lot of crust on either end of their sandwich. Or just empty bread. Ooh. Use any ingredients because I think that would change the sandwich drastically. Yeah, it looks about the same. King of Fighters. That sounds interesting. I've never heard of that before. What sort of game is it? Seeing as how you're about to play it, I imagine you haven't actually played it before. Or have you? Sounds really cool. Thanks, Virus. I probably need it. Grateful for all the shiny luck. As long as it works. There we go. Oh, hypnosis. We're going to say no for the moment. Game like Street Fighter. Ooh. I'll confess now, I've never really played a Street Fighter or a Tekken game. They weren't my kinds of games. More along the same lines with like Smash and that. I've only played a little bit of Smash. Smash Ultimate, Smash Brawl, things like that, but not really my kind of games. I know lots of people love them though. They're a very popular genre of game, but it's just not been something I've been too interested in, sadly. I think the closest style of game, which is nothing in like a side-scrolling fighting game, but it's very similar to that Japanese style of fighting game, would be the Yakuza games. Yakuza Kiwami and things like that. And it's like very over the top, very unrealistic fighting, but man, they've got an amazing story. I need to finish playing the way through those games at some point in the future, because I love them. I own them all, but sadly I haven't had the time to play through them. Getting lots of Froakie spawn. We're getting lots of Froakie. Thinking a different frog. Lots of Croagunk spawns. So hopefully we get one soon. Let's play. Are you gonna turn? It's yes, that's the plan, Virus. I've sort of been doing video production alongside, so I'm hoping that once this run is finished, it will be sort of like a week or so after the run is done, and then the video should be out. But it's my first foray into it, so I am taking it a little bit slow on that. Yes, yeah, dry. There are a lot of small details in this game when it comes to shiny Pokemon behaving differently to regular Pokemon. Like Sudowoodo doesn't run as fast. I encountered a shiny Staravia that didn't fly away when the rest of the group did, so I sort of could tell that it was shiny. What? That was good. The Pokemon tournament. Yeah, there was a Pokemon style fighting game. I never played it though, but I thought it looked really cool. If it's free, I might have to pick it up. Yeah, they did the recent DX one, didn't they? Or, well, relatively recently DX one. But yeah, no, they're definitely good. But yeah, no, they did a lot of interesting small details in this game. But that annoys me, right? That they managed to code in different behavior for shiny Pokemon, but they couldn't do a shiny Sparkle or a shiny noise in the overworld. It's like these Pokemon behave differently. They function differently to other Pokemon, like on a fundamental level. But we can't make a Sparkle or a noise when they spawn. And it was like, oh man, that's just super irritating. The tournament, yeah, I'd love to. It's never been one. I was thinking of getting Colosseum. Not that that's anything like Pokken Tournament. And I might have to do some. I might just have to go through and just get me a load of the Pokemon games that I don't own. But I know that's going to be very, very expensive, because there's a lot of Pokemon games that I don't own. That'll be interesting. That being said, I do own Pokemon Mystery Dungeons on the Switch, which I bought recently because I have the original, and I was like, yeah, I'll buy it. Even though I still have the original, I had the save file on it. Oh, it's not. Oh, okay, Ash. I mean, it could still be worth buying, right? I don't know if it's... Is it on the Switch, or is it just on the is it on like the DS or the Wii? I remember one of them being on the Wii. I wish a lot of games were free, I'll be honest, but fortunately that's not quite how it works, unless you play Fortnite or other things like that. Might also run into a shiny Dreepy or a Mankey. To be fair, we could have seen there could be a shiny Mankey up here, but because I've not been paying attention to the Pokemon up here, I might have missed it. Oh, is it on Switch? Okay. Yeah, I might have to pick it up at some point then. Which is Pokken Tournament DX. Okay. Yeah, I might have to pick that up then, if they ever do a sale on it. I'm a sucker for buying things on sale. In the past week, I bought myself the Spyro Remaster trilogy, and oh yeah, or a Tadpole Jiraiya. I might have run into that and just missed it, as well as the Crash Bandicoot. The Crash Bandicoot trilogy that was recently on sale, because I love playing those games and they were cheap enough that I was like, yeah, I'll get them in case I ever want to play them in the future. Well, I'm gonna say Psyduck, I think I would have seen. Churtle, I think I would have seen. Tutle. Croagunk, I definitely would have seen. And the Flamingo I would have seen, so I'm not too wide. Same with Wooper as well. I would have seen Wooper. I love Wooper. Goomy, I'm hoping that I haven't missed either, but you know, there is always a possibility that I have missed them. But in our previous hunts, I found that we either get them very, very early on in the stream, or in like the last 10 minutes of the stream. That happened with Bronzor, where I'd gotten to like 6 hours of hunting for the day, and I was just like getting to the end of my rope, and it was just like, oh, here it is. I was like, oh, finally, thank God, I can't take a hunt anymore. But yeah, no. So Virus, in regards to the flying away and coming back might help. I don't think it will affect the spawns too much. I normally do that when the mini-map gets a load of the icons on. Oh no, Virus, there's no need to do that. I work, so I make enough money that I can get it for myself. I'm just a sucker for waiting for things to come on deals. And the issue is I've got to find time to play it. At the moment, I'm obviously doing this, and then I don't know if I'm going to do another run straight after this or what. So it might get to a point where I get it just to play in my own time or something like that. Save your money for you. I'm grateful for the offer though. Where was I? Oh, but yes. So in terms of turning this into a hardcore Nuzlocke video, that's the plan. How well it's going to turn out, I don't know. Mainly an experiment. Worst case scenario is I have to abandon my next run halfway through if people watch the video and they're like, this is a horrible video, or something like that. So I'm yet to do a voiceover, and really I'm only like in the very early stages of the game. I mean, I got an hour of story progression yesterday that might be maybe a minute in terms of, well, a minute to a minute and a half maybe in terms of actual footage for the video. So it could be an incredibly short, uneventful video. Oh, for yourself. Oh no, yeah. Yeah, get it for yourself. Don't worry about me. I'm gonna say, don't need your money. Save it for you. How much is it? Is it 50? I'm thinking it's 50, but it might be 60. Just because that is the nature of games at the moment, is that they're going up in cost. Running around, what we got? Like 15, 20 minutes? Yeah, 20 minutes. So it's possible that we'll get one. But I'll be honest, I don't know if I will get Pokemon Tournament unless you can shiny hunt in the game. I'll be honest. It's like at this point, the only reason I'm thinking of getting Colosseum is so that I can shiny hunt for a shiny Heracross and then get it all of the badges in every Pokemon game. So I was like, I could do that just so then I've got one. I love Heracross. I think it's such a cool Pokemon. And it's good that it's in every Pokemon game. Oh, 250. That's a lot. But that's the currency thing, isn't it? Pokemon Tournament DX. Oh god, I couldn't buy the Japanese version. Is it only Japanese? Oh yeah, no, it looks like it is. Oh, that's not too bad. Maybe? Come on, looks like it is. It's 40 of the, I guess at this point, the King's Pound. At a shopping chain in the UK, so... maybe I'll have to think about getting it. The other thing that I really like about Pokemon is that it's basically been like forwards compatible since the very first Pokemon games up to even like Scarlet and Violet. Like, I just think that's insane that you can go through all of that and still make everything work. I'd hate to think of the coding for that. But yeah, no, unfortunately, I'll add it to the list. It can go on the list behind Pokemon Colosseum. Just because then I can check to see if I can possibly shiny hunt in the game. I'm very fond of shiny hunting now. I'm not a fan of full odds, so I'm going to dread trying to do a shiny shadow Pokemon in Pokemon Colosseum in its full odd glory, but you know, you never know. I might get it quite quickly. It might take 6 months. Yeah, there could be virus. I don't pay too much attention to it at the end of the day. We're coming to the last part of the stream. Typically this is when people clock out to go and check out other stuff. It doesn't matter at the end of the day to me. I mean, I reckon No might still be here. I think it counts. It doesn't count lurkers. I think if people, you know, aren't active in the tab, like if they just have the stream open or anything like that, I think after a set amount of time it counts them as inactive. I'm gonna say it fluctuates a lot during the stream, but if I did it for the views, I wouldn't be doing it. I would have given up a long time ago. But you know, luckily for me, I don't do it for that at the moment. I might in the future, but seeing as how I don't plan on making a career out of it, I can't foresee me worrying about the numbers. If I did, I would fudge. I would buy views and things like that, but the amount of effort to go through that just to maybe make myself feel a little bit better just isn't worth it. And say people who I'm appreciated to anyone who comes in to check out the streams, even if they're only here for 30 seconds, a minute, you know, or if you're here for, you know, 10-15 hours, you know, if you watch every stream, I'm very appreciative, given that I know you know, time is something that we have to spend very wisely, and I'm ever so grateful that you're spending even just a little bit of that coming to check out what I'm doing on the internet. So thank you very much for that. That's all I got to say to that. Let's move on and hope and pray that we get a shiny today. A shiny would be cool, but I got 2 off stream yesterday, didn't get any on stream yesterday, so it's possible that my shiny luck for the moment has run a little bit dry. And then come Thursday, maybe come Wednesday, sorry, maybe I'll come tomorrow. God, my days are all confused. That then I might find out that there's I might get lucky and might find 4 or 5 shinies in one day, but that'll probably be Friday where we do another marathon stream. As long as I can actively stay awake throughout the entirety of it. Who knows? I might pass out halfway through. I might make it all the way through. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm trying to figure out at the moment. The virus. I don't think I have a very good comedy sense. And I think I talk in a very monotone manner. I don't think I can't do super high pitched excited or anything like that. And then when I do feel motivated enough to talk, I find I do talk quite quickly. But I did have a little few bits. That's why I was thinking Lay Frog would work quite well as the name, because I reckon I can do a couple of little bits with that. Obviously playing on the fact that he's like French frog. But, you know, other than that, I'm sort of trying to decide how to do it. Trying to figure out a good way of doing it. But I'll probably find that I'll do a very early script run some point soon, and then maybe cobble together the first sort of few minutes of the video, unlist it on the channel, and then just sort of do a week's stream where I just have it there in the or just do a community post just asking for feedback on it. So it might be worth keeping your eyes peeled for that. I'm gonna say I'll probably post everywhere, you know, put it in chat that for the week that, you know, that it's up. Let me know what you think, and then I can tweak any changes. I'm gonna say I find it that a lot of like the quick format of TikTok has sort of broken a lot of people's sense of humor, because, you know, it's just a funny bass boosted thing that, you know, picture a frog, things like that, just will yeah, exactly, the Vine boom, exactly, that I find gets people. But yeah, I'm gonna say it's my first foray into like super heavily edited, like decently long form factor video. And until I've got the script together to a decent enough point, because I'm sort of writing it as I'm going, I'm trying to cut as many corners as I can to make it so pretty much as soon as the run is done, I can have a video up. Because unfortunately, unlike some people who at the moment don't work and sort of just play Pokemon full time, you know, I can't sit here for 12 hours a day doing a run, you know, to then go to bed, wake up the next day and do it all over again. So at the moment, these streams that I'm doing of an evening is me capturing footage for this run, so I've got to sort of figure out how to make it work. And I've already cut a big chunk out of the script, so really I've just got to do a test one. But unfortunately, I'm not very I don't spend a lot of time on TikTok. I spend a little bit more time on YouTube, checking out some of the other styles of the Nuzlocke runs, just to see how other people are editing them and things like that. At least I am now, just to try and figure out how I can tweak any of what they're doing to sort of work for me. Which is sort of how I came up with the Sinnoh, or as George, a regular in the stream, put it, a gen lock. So we're only locking ourselves into the certain generation of Pokemon. So I can only use Pokemon from, in this case, Gen 4. You know, everyone does the same sort of... There you go. Here he is, George. Hey, Pete. Hey George, I'm reading your message. How are you doing today? Hope you're. I summoned you. I hope your Tuesday is going well. But yeah, so you know, that was my sort of twist on the whole single type gen issue. You know, everyone's doing fire type only, you know, and I can do 18 different videos on a single, you know, Pokemon you know, type. But the issue is that obviously for Dragon it's going to be the same Pokemon, Fairy it's going to be the same Pokemon, so all the runs aren't individual, they're all the same. So it's very much a case of wanting to do something that's a bit different, and that's what this is. So that's what I'm attempting. It might work, it might not. Speak of the devil and you will appear. Yeah, exactly. I dread, you know, I dare not go in front of my mirror and say George 3 times. I don't want you to show up. Just appear behind me. Just as I'm looking into the mirror. But I feel like at this point, if I did that, you would probably appear. Yeah, unfortunately, the poll will probably end in like 30 seconds. Not at all, George. Not in the slightest. I haven't even touched Scarlet since starting this run. I've got it sitting here on my desk in front of me right now. I haven't touched it since, well, I've just touched it now, but there you go. There's the run, the poll finished. Unfortunately, we're not going to go with any of those names. We're going with Lefrog because I thought it was funny. No, not at all. I'm hoping that I can use the Clodsire that I built for the Pikachu raid. But who knows? I might just have to wait until Saturday when all the guide videos come out on how to do it before I actually give it a go. Might be that Friday stream, depending on where we're at in terms of the team and whatnot, might be that that I finish hatching all my Oshawott eggs in prep. You might do. You never know. You never know, George. Getting back might be a bit of a trouble though. You'd have to have someone at both, you know, at both ends. You know, to have someone at both ends, and then you could just freely travel. I mean, that would be a hell of a way to get around, wouldn't it? Right, I think because it's day, they don't spawn as much, which is unfortunate. Let's speed this up for the last couple of minutes. Just start zooming. I say, was you here yesterday, George, when we made a load of progress? At this point, I can't remember who was here yesterday and who wasn't. Ah, that's true. That's an easy way of doing it. It's just relative, right? Yes, that's what I was thinking, Virus. When Lefrog's name came up, that's exactly what my thought was. It was something very similar to that. Maybe a baguette and a beret was what my thought was. And then maybe giving him a moustache when he evolves. I mean, it's going to be a pain in the backside to edit, but as soon as it went Lefrog, the gears sort of clicked in my head, and I was just like, yep, that definitely could work. I've already put a little note down in my script for it. Right, so good news is we got the first and second gym done. No casualties. Don't ask Jimbo about what happened to the first 2 universes or 3 universes. Nothing happened. I started the stream with Simba, who I caught by accident off stream. I say by accident. I went to do a little bit of shiny hunting because I thought if I get half hour shiny hunting out of the way before the stream, it then means during the stream I should get a shiny quicker. I ended up getting one before the stream. So we pretty much just spent Monday just doing the first, second gym and the first 2 titans. So now we're getting ready for the dark type and Team Star fight, and then also Eno. Names that starts with Le. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't thought that far yet. Once I work on the edit enough, maybe I'll work it out. What I'll probably do is I'll do the first 4 gyms for the story. Get that edited and set. And then put that out as, you know, obviously quote unquote members. It won't be a members only thing. It will probably go to like the community tab, just be unlisted, just be an unlisted video that you can watch, and then obviously it will go up as one big chunk once everything is done. But at least then that way those who want to give feedback and check it out before it goes live has that option too, without affecting the channel too much. Frogger is also a good name, but I've sort of gone after the movie side of things, and then when the comment came up about Flushed Away, and the frog being in that, whose name is literally Le Frog, I thought, I can't not take Le Frog. At this point, it has to be Le Frog. My headset just died. That's fine. I don't need it. Matter of fact, I can probably just take it off at this point. But yeah, no, so I went with Le Frog. I think I'm going to stick with Le Frog in the end. I was thinking if something better came up that I would sort of go with that, but obviously now the only issue is Big Ben is literally just the odd name out. So I might have to find something that can pair up well with Big Ben for one of the other Pokemon we go with. But ideally, by Saturday, I would have gotten a good part of the script done, all the clips together, and then I've just got to figure out a way of weaving them together. It might be I have to go around and capture a load of B-roll footage and things like that, so I'll do that off stream on Saturday or something like that. While probably also trying... Well, no, I probably can't do all of that at the same time. Damn, I was kind of hoping to also prep for Sunday when we hatch Typhlosion eggs, but... At this rate, I think I'm going to have to cram everything into Sunday morning, but that should be fine. Yeah, so it's going to be a bit of prep work. Going into the weekend, but it should be doable. Another minute left, let's speed around. And that will probably do us for today. I'm gonna make sure I'm good for tomorrow. make sure I get plenty of rest, and then fingers crossed. I've got nothing to do with the script in the morning, so I might do a bit of editing before work. Because at this point, Croagunk is where I'm up to, so need to get Croagunk, and then we'll continue on from there. So it could be tomorrow we continue on with the story. In all likelihood, though, it will probably be Thursday when we continue on with the story. I mean, if I had... See, that works. I think that works better with Fuecoco virus, the whole Mexican thing. And I'm sick of hunting Starly, I'll be honest. I've already done about 12 hours of trying to shiny hunt Starly, and it just did not go well, so I'm sick of it. I'm probably going to avoid Starly, Staravia, and Staraptor altogether. Unless I get a lucky spawn. Save the game here, and this is probably where we'll end it today. So unfortunately, not a lot of progress today. We sort of didn't get lucky with any shinies. You know, we didn't get lucky with anything like that, but that just means that, yeah, exactly. Fuecoco called something. That would be cool. That'd be very cool. Very cool, George. I might have to take you up on that at some point. But yes, so I think that's where we're going to end. So thank you very much for watching. I don't know how bad the delay is on the stream, so I don't know if you're all still expecting me to... I'll give it 30 seconds. But yes, no. So thank you all for stopping by today, hanging out. Tomorrow we'll pretty much continue with more of the same until we get Left Rock. And then after that we'll move on to continuing more of the story. I mean, at this point I think Eno is our biggest challenge, and then once we're done with her, it's pretty much smooth sailing to the end, so we should be good. But yeah, so yeah, thanks for tuning in, thanks for hanging out, and yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow, same time, same place. Right.